Hey there, chat here. Thanks for joining me. Let's play some Ostranauts. We're picking right up where we left off, or picking up right where we left off. That's what I meant to say. I was repairing this capacitor and I'm doing the restore on it, at least to get it so that it will move for me. And it looks like we're probably there at this point, so I can stop. And we'll do the rest of that on the trip home to save some time. At this point, I want to uninstall it, not dismantle. I almost hit the wrong button there. That's been happening as I get a little more comfortable in talking in that. I'm a little loose with where my fingers are going when I'm hitting these buttons. That's one of the things I'm trying to be really super careful of. Here is a pellet feeder, and it's in good shape. So, well, not great shape, but good enough shape. Just going to uninstall that, have it sit there. This guy needs to be repaired. We'll work on that. And I have found that that has worked fairly well for me, going ahead and repairing these in place. Much less problem with forgetting some parts or not having something. So often the stuff is there on the ship right in the area because it blew up, right? And then that's where it drops the debris and the detritus, and so we can just use what's there and go from there. There we go, and then we'll restore it just a little bit. And that's been a great tip that somebody gave. Really appreciate that. I have a feeling I know who it was. I think it was my good friend in Germany that pointed that out. If not, he's getting credit for something he doesn't deserve, but I love his comments. He's always sending me stuff, and I appreciate that. Okay, we're going to uninstall this. There we go. I was doing a little bit of checking around. There we go. So YouTube kind of can show you a little bit of like where people are logging in from. I think it used to do a better job. When I was doing KSP videos, I could tell how many people from like Yemen were watching my videos, and I'm not seeing that level of detail anymore, but there are a couple of signs of things. You can kind of sometimes see attachment, not attachments like files, but you can see that there's this one page that kind of shows relationships of how people come into your site, your YouTube channel. And I'm seeing that many of you are in Europe. And the fact that you can follow me speaking my Midwestern English, where I don't say the word him, I say im, things like that, and you can enjoy it and move along. I'm just blown away by that. Language has never been my thing. Just absolutely floored when people can be bilingual or more, and very, very fluent in it. I work with a ton of people from India, and in my industry that's pretty common. I just am constantly floored that some of these folks I work with know 4 or 5 different dialects, and dialects aren't the same as speaking Southern here in the US, or even speaking American English versus British versus Australian English. At least that's my understanding, and they can be conversational and fluent in it. I can talk about complex topics that are technical and people understand. That is not me. That is just a fantastic ability that human beings have, and I applaud those of you where English, particularly when English isn't your first language and you're following me in my very bad broken English. I thank you for that. But I've gotten messages from a few folks from different parts of the world, and Germany is an interesting one to me. My heritage is almost strictly German. We could all do the math, right, of the squares. Everything has to be a square of 2 and how that works. But about 3/4 of my family is heritage is German. And I finally got to go to Germany a year ago, and I really enjoyed it. I've taken German class in college and high school. I should say that the other way around, high school and college, but never really had a practical application for it. And I was surprised that I was able to communicate reasonably well while I was in Germany, but not anything like some of you folks that are just every day in more than one language. I probably said a total of 50 different German words while I was over there. Oh, I meant to. Oh no, this one's in good shape. Like I said, just blown away that people can be so fluent in multiple languages, since that is not my thing. Now, on the other hand, I tend to be really good with numbers, and that kind of floors some people. The and it's not so much a math thing; it's a memory thing. I remember numbers. I remember numbers I don't want to remember, like first girlfriends' phone numbers and addresses and things like that. And uh, yeah, in talking to somebody recently, we were at a hotel, and I just kind of casually said to my wife that, oh, I know why that number is familiar. It was the whatever it was. It's not important, but the room number we were in was an address we had. It was actually our first address together. And I mentioned that, and the person working the desk just was completely floored that I could remember my address from, well, I guess 30 plus years ago now. And that was, I don't know, that was interesting to me, just because I can't forget those numbers. And here, this young lady can't remember them, so it's kind of weird. Anyway, just kind of seeing if there's anything else here to try to strip out. I can't remember if I walked this plank or not. I think I did. I know that the south one has that backpack. Oh, and I haven't unloaded yet either, have I? So why don't we go ahead and grab one of these things and take with us? Oh, I can't. My hands are. Oh, I can drag. I can still drag. So let's do that. Is this uninstalled? That's floor. I'm not looking at floor. I'm looking at the CO2 scrubber. We'll pick that up and drag it all the way down here. It is a 3x2, so we'll put it, you know what, we're going to put it right here. If I can get there. I can't get there just yet. There we go. One of the things that I hear a lot about folks who do YouTube videos, and it's not a problem when I'm doing a training video, because I usually have things I know that I need to say. When I'm doing a Let's Play, there's these gaps, and I've asked you all what, you know, should I skip them? Should I just be quiet? And you've all been very gracious in your answers. But one of the things I said is I could share a couple of stories, and I'm not going to do it today, but in a future episode, I'm going to talk about the time that I was on a jury. And the situation for that jury was it wasn't like an insurance fraud thing or something. I actually was on a jury that was sequestered for about a week and a half. We weren't allowed to talk to family or anyone. There were a lot of interesting stories from that. It was a capital murder case, and it received worldwide coverage because, and for those of you that aren't in the United States, I know this is a weird and can be an uncomfortable topic, but we do have the death penalty, and in my state, we do have the death penalty. Some states don't have it. In my state, we do. The reason this case was special is it is the last time in the United States that a minor was facing the death penalty. And it was covered by Amnesty International, and there were some international reporters there covering it. It's one of those dirty little secrets about America, right? That we have the death penalty, and some people loathe it, and some people adore it. There was a joke at one point, I mean, it's not really funny, but it was telling. The state of Texas, they rated the death penalty in states in 4 levels. The first level was don't have it. The second level was have it but never use it. The third was have it and sometimes use it, and that's a state that I live in. We have the death penalty, and it does sometimes get enforced. And then the fourth one was Texas. Texas, very, very liberal with their assignment of the death penalty here in the United States. And I know that can be very controversial, particularly for those of you not from here. It's an important topic here too, don't get me wrong. It doesn't get quite the coverage it used to, but it's still out there. It's still one that people do pay attention to. But yeah, the court case I was on was the last time a minor, this case the person when they committed the murder was 15, and he was potentially facing the death penalty. So I'll talk about that in a future episode, maybe in the next 2 or 3. I'm not sure today's the day. I've got a couple of other things on my mind that might make that story really, really dark, and I don't want to necessarily ruin everybody's weekend or anything like that. Okay, so what I'm trying to think through here is where I'm going to put this stuff. I have this bag that just has some electronic parts. I'm going to put that there for now. And was I carrying it? Nope, that was the bag I was carrying. So I have a few pieces of scrap because I repaired some things. And I don't, there's no room in this bag anymore. It's pretty full. I think I can put steel in there. Oh, it's not going to let me do that either. One thing I've noticed, I'm pretty sure if we look at this bag, it will have, yeah, see, it could stack steel there. But since there's no space left in the bag, open spaces, it doesn't tend to let me do that. So that is something to sort of pay attention to if you're trying to maximize your space usage. That's not happening. I was thinking that these were the same. I'm having a little trouble. The symbols aren't grossly different to me. I know a lot of it has to do with color, and I'm not good at the color thing, as you all know. So I think that's probably getting it done. I don't really see where, yeah, I'm not really, maybe, well, those are all at 20, so that won't fit in any of those. Okay. I don't have a big problem with that. I like to maximize the bags where I can, but it's not critical right now, so we'll go with that. He's carrying his backpack. There are some electronic parts in there. What else? We have that ticket, extra batteries. I do have a bag for batteries. I'm going to use that. Come over here. The only other thing I'll say today about that case is this was, it was 26 years ago. It wasn't like yesterday or something. This was quite a while ago. The United States put a moratorium on the death penalty for people under 18, and I think it's actually even older than that in some places. And that was probably a wise move. So, enough politics today. God knows there's been plenty of that going on in the world lately. Not my favorite topic. Okay, so I'm going to have some space in the bag. I'm going to, oh, I know what I was thinking. I'm going to take the cart. So I'm going to pick up the cart. I do kind of mess that up sometimes. I'm going to come back and we'll find where I put that other bag. Why am I not seeing it? It's right there, isn't it? Yeah, that's where it's at. Okay, we're going to put the bag on the cart. And then I will be able to put things in the bag. And somebody said that they just put 10 backpacks on that cart, and that's what they use for everything. And that would be great. I just don't think I can do that right now. I am going to want to start grabbing those pumps, though. He will move a lot slower now, of course, because he's dragging stuff, but that's okay. We can adjust that a little bit with time compression, right? Flooring conduit would be important to grab with regards to having the, oops, wrong order of them, with regards to having the bag, but and the cart. But really, I think I'm going to go for reactor parts. And I should have put a light down. There it is. There it is. Okay, that helps a lot. So let's pick some of this stuff up. There's one. There's two. There's three. And that one won't fit right now. So I don't think I realized, is that, no, that is two different things. Okay. I didn't think that was 3 by 3. This is the capacitor, it's 2 by 3. And then this is probably the pump. Yeah, oh no, that's the pellet feeder. And the pellet feeder will fit on there nicely. Look at that. Okay. On my way back, if I see some of those motherboards and stuff. I'm going to shove those in this bag. I'm not seeing any right now, though. Probably all gone because I'm talking about them. Just in case there's something fun. Oh, there was something there. I think it was on the floor, though. Yes. Anti-atrophy pen. Those are good. Those can be helpful, particularly when you start doing the torch drive travel. There's one that prevents you from passing out as easily. And I have used those and have had good success with them. It does seem to help. How much it helps, hard to say. I mean, it's... Yeah, I'm in the wrong leg there. Hard to say for sure. I don't know that I have a good way of making a comparison. It's hard to do the A/B test on something like that, but they say it helps and it seems to help, so I'm going to go with it's helping. Mechanical parts. I think we're probably okay on those. I think that looked like kind of what I had the most of. And yeah, let's come down here. Come right here. My plan is to put this here and this here. Didn't quite work out perfectly, but it'll get the job done. And then we can kind of find some space here and here. One thing I will say, there have been comments about, well, you use up so much space, you know, for stuff that doesn't have to be on your ship right now. And part of it's just comfort. I know where things are, and I'm good with that. The other thing is, if I'm being honest, if I was playing to max out every space on here with stuff from this ship, I think I would, from my perspective, that would drive me bonkers, I think. I can't exactly explain why, but it's like I think I would get bored with it way more quickly. With the way I do it like this, I don't focus on one part of the game for more than a half hour or so at a time, and then I'm heading back and doing other things. And I think for me, that's what's keeping me engaged as long as it has. The amount of time that the system says I have in the game for this playthrough thread is something like 26 hours. Now I know that that's not 100% of video time. There are times that I jump on here and look around to see, you know, kind of plan ahead, right? I want to have an idea of what I'm going to do. There are some of those pieces I was thinking of. I'm going to move those to this bag. Okay, there we go. I was thinking it should be open, but it's not. I'm not holding it, so it didn't open it. But there we go. Okay. That surprises me a little because while Ostranauts is a game I have played certainly this year the most, and it's one of my top 3 or 4 games of all time with regards to playing, it is not one where I've been able to play it long term, like over several weeks at a time. It tends to get a little stale for me, and I think part of it is just talking about stuff, even though nobody's, you know, responding. That does seem to be helping a little bit with my thoughts on, you know, my enjoyment of playing it. There's also the factor that just kind of feeling some more, what's the word I want? I don't feel like I have to do these, but I feel like I have reason to do these, and that's been very helpful as well. Oh, I'm heading back, and I never even picked anything else up, did I? Let's get some of those pumps. I think that's a good move. Turbo pumps everywhere. Now I won't be able to find them because I didn't mark them. Regular air pump, regular air pump. I think they were probably in those big chambers, weren't they? Come to think of it. There's one. Oh, and here I didn't grab this last piece here. Let's get that. There we go. Okay. Also, was there a scrubber here or something? I remember there was one. I don't remember if I grabbed it or not. All right. Well, we'll just go with this pump for now. Nothing in the bulkhead. Pump is in decent shape, so we'll grab that. Anyway, so we'll keep going with this. Also, I think that the length of episode in keeping people coming back and wanting to watch the next one has there's an importance to the length of those, and I think if I start getting over a half hour or so, they start to get a little boring. It can actually, you can watch the fall off on what people are watching or not watching. YouTube is really good at that. It does offer a lot of metrics on things like that, and I think that an hour total, so across 2 episodes, using an hour to go out and take care of a ship and then bring the stuff back, I think that's a good tempo for working on this game. I am curious what you all have been building on your end. If anybody wants to toss in the chat, some. I don't know that images work real well on YouTube, but if you have descriptions of how you've built out or anything like that, I'd love to see them. And I was kind of hoping there'd be another pump or two here. I'm not seeing any. I know there's 2 down here. Those are the low-hanging fruit, right? Probably pumps in these big chambers, and I'm just not remembering it really well. So let's go ahead and grab this guy. He's in decent shape. There we go. And we'll grab that extra motor. Why not? Grab the electronics. I know I had left a couple of those out over here. So I know there's a stack, right? There it is. And that'll work. These guys can go in here. Put that whole thing in there. Another one of those. That looks pretty good. I think I had somewhere there. Is that where I had medicine and food? I don't know if I had I did have a bag for it, so that's good. Okay. And then we're gonna just unload this, maybe make one more big pass. That works. And then we're gonna head in. Not just yet, but getting there. We'll head in soon. We'll put it that way. All right. Let's see what else we can grab. I might grab some thrusters too. So this time I think I'm just going to grab things and load up the cart as I go, which will include this guy. Let's uninstall him. On the cart. All right, next. Yeah, that room always, I always get thrown by that one for whatever reason. I feel like that's this walkway between the 2 areas, and it's just throwing me for a loop. It's regular air pump. We'll leave those behind for now. They can sell well, but it's a little more hit and miss. The turbos seem to always be selling really well. There we go. I knew there were a couple sitting somewhere that were going to be easy to get to. There we go. Boom, we can do 3 more. In decent shape. Probably nothing else down this way. That's not surprising. These ships are always great for grabbing those doors because there's often doors on every end, and a lot of times they're in good shape. I don't know if there's a reason that I tend to find them in really good shape or not. I would assume those doors aren't used much, right? That kind of makes some sense. They're at the end of the ship. But I also don't have reason to think that that's... I have no way to know if that's a factor or not in how they decide how the system determines value on something, so, or wear and tear on something. And there'll be 2 more pumps here, so there should be 4 more turbo pumps. I might go ahead and, because there'll be these 2, and then there should be 4 on the other side, at least 4 on the other side. So yeah, I think we're gonna finish that up. Grab all the turbo pumps I can. Whoops, I hit the wrong key there. Turbo pump 2, I hit 1 instead of 2, and that gives you the menu, or the control panel, I guess is what it's called. Rotate that bad boy, and there we go. And it's empty gas canister. Okay. I can't remember if I actually looked in this crate earlier or not. Doesn't look like it because it was still locked. Nothing terribly fun in there. We'll take the bottle. Oh, there's some water. That's going to be good. That wasn't in the crate, of course. That was just sitting around. That was probably on this guy, and I, stripped him down. Okay. Well, the cart is full. Plenty of space for more turbo pumps, though, so I'm going to go ahead and make that happen. Speed it up a little. Okay. There we go. 1 more. Boy, that worked out really well. I can get another 3 in there if I need to. Let's come over here. Can I get there easily? Looks like I can. So I know I already have the backpack, but we're going to check for other pumps. There we go. Uninstall. I could have unloaded the stuff in my backpack too. I didn't. And we're saving. That's usually a sign to me that the episode's starting to run long when I jump out there and it saves. So we're going to wrap this up here pretty quickly. Grab the rest of these pumps, get back to the ship, and start to head back. I think that sounds good. Almost there. There it is. I did see some mixed messages on what people thought about ship flipping. Initially, I'd seen a lot of folks saying, oh yeah, it's very lucrative. And then the majority of you have been saying, no, it's really not, at least over the last few episodes. I'm wondering if something changed, or if that's just collective experience, or what your thoughts are. Either way, I'm going to give it a try. I think it's something to do in the game, if nothing else. Kind of like an achievement, right? Well, I flipped a ship once, and I have done that before. I enjoyed doing it. I liked trying to figure out the logistics of getting all the parts out to the ship I was working on. It wasn't like, super giant puzzle or anything, but it took a little bit of thought, and was able to get it out and then do it quickly. And that's kind of where that might be fun is, hey, can you flip a ship every couple of days, or what's the time frame looking like? Chair, there's a piece of me that's really curious how much a chair might sell for, but I'm gonna hold off for now. Air pump, air pump. I was thinking there might be one more thing out here worth picking up. And there are. All these things are worth picking up, I suppose. I need to get that light. That was the other thing I was thinking. Actually, I still have a good amount of space, though. I maybe don't want to jump back just yet. I am going to pick up the light because we're kind of done with this part of it. Turn off the power and slide it in a pocket. There we go. I did not see a nav console that I recall. I don't remember where they tend to sit in this ship. There were a lot of firearms. I remember that now. And I know we've been through that one, so. Okay. Orange floor. Would you go with orange floor in your ship? I did try to do that once. I found one of these freighters and I stripped out all of the orange that I could get to and tried making my ship with it. And for whatever reason, it wasn't nearly as cool as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, don't really remember what the problem was. Not that it was really a problem, I suppose, but there was a reason I stopped. I don't remember what it is. Okay, I guess I could take one of those tanks. The tanks aren't really fully worth, and when I say the tanks, I mean like the deuterium tank or the helium tank. If you're not using them, they're not great to take because they don't, they take a lot of effort to fix. It's a whole lot of effort to fix them and very, very little payout. So for the amount of effort anyway. I've been avoiding them for that reason. Okay, well, you know what? I filled the ship up a little more than I thought. Thrusters, that's something I could try to grab. I'm gonna see if I can find any thrusters that are low hanging and then get the heck out of Dodge. I keep saying that, I don't know why. I've always assumed it has something to do with cowboys here in the U.S. Is it Dodge City, I think? Dodge City, Kansas. Interesting. Oh, I was clicking on stuff, that's why. Okay. So this tank is not horrible. There's very little in it, I think. That doesn't look like a whole lot of pressure or solid. Found a thruster. Damaged, going to need to be repaired. There it goes. And then we will mini restore, cancel action, uninstall. One down. And I do not recall seeing thrusters along here. There's plenty of intakes. Maybe I should grab some of those. Particularly if they're in good shape. That one's in pretty good shape. Let's do that. Another switch. That wouldn't be the worst thing. Come on now. There we go. Oh, that is, I'm like, hey, there's a backpack. That's my backpack. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Oh boy, he's having to travel to get these parts. There we go. Oh, got to uninstall it then. Don't forget that part. That's an important step. Putting the whole ship on the handy cart dolly is not going to work. Okay. I feel like there was a nav and I just didn't think to pay attention to where it was. Let's take a couple of nitrogen tanks. They don't tend to sell as well as the oxygen tanks. I think that is obvious, but I was having some decent luck with them from a price point perspective. $500 or so. That's not horrible when that works out. And of course, the more they have in them, the better. That one's got a lot in it. We're going to take it. And I don't think there's going to be anything else to grab. Okay, well, I think I'm good with heading home at this point. Except I keep hitting that silly room. Ah, oxygen tank. That is something that we will, and it's got a lot in it. We'll do that. They do want to install quick, don't they? Can't beat that. I've been trying to grab some of these. There's another one. Okay. I feel like there was another oxygen tank somewhere that I didn't think about at the time and talked right over myself. I think that'll do it though. Pretty happy with what we've collected. I'm looking forward to seeing what it pays out to. That'll work. I'm going to put the parts that can be repaired in here. So it is great that you can use the dolly as extra storage when you need it. Since I don't really need it this time, I'm not going to do that. We'll leave that backpack on there. And I'm going to set the dolly down in here. And I'm going to pick this up. And we're going to set it down. Oh, you have to click on ground, not actually on the actual floor. That's something I do pretty regularly, actually. I get that mixed up. Okay. And then finally, we'll dispose of the scrap that he grabbed to repair stuff. Oh, good. I don't like it when that happens. But I'm pretty sure he's got at least a little space. Yeah. There it was. Okay. Well, that'll do for now. We'll go ahead and call this one done. I will have one more episode of returning and selling this stuff, and then we will kind of make some decisions on where to go from there. Appreciate your time. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope you'll consider doing so. And thank you. Have a great day and fair travels.